Hi folks. I want to start talking a little bit today about this project, the presentations that we're going to do. Okay, so you saw from this past week, that I organized the whole class in categories connected to other case study, ethnography, survey, so forth and so on, right? And out in today's module, you can see that these are now organized into weeks also that you have to deliver a presentation. Right, the presentation is aimed at basically you producing something similar that I would produce for each week of the class, just as we have been in these first few 5 weeks now. So the aim is for you to produce for us, as you can see in the first element, kind of a micro unit. So you're going to write a little bit similar to what we do, and are actually just copying what we do for each week of the class, which, what kinds of things to watch, kind of things to read, and one or two assignments, right, that you can imagine for your own colleagues to develop. In order to do that, of course, you need to be invested. You need to learn about the issue. You need to kind of create a sense of a strong understanding on your own, connected to your partner in these presentations, right? So the first group is Priscilla and Raquel, and they're going to have to work together, organizing materials, thinking through. They can meet through our own Adobe Connect. You can just click again in the first week out, once it's just as you open and you can use that platform, or you can meet via Skype or in person if you're in the same location. Okay, the goal is for you to develop different things, but you also come together periodically and organize them. So the first one of these is the deadline is February 16th. So you have 2 weeks for the first group to organize all this. Each one of the other groups are in subsequent weeks, right? You see that we have a break there because of our spring break week, so obviously you're not doing any work on that, so make sure that you anticipate those. Those are the absolute final deadlines, right, to submit this to me. So you're going to submit the whole package, and I'm going to then post that online for us all to see. So in each one of those weeks, when we're talking about these things, we're going to be learning about these processes, right? And this is going to be one part of the course. And then I'm going to be also producing some other elements, just as I have thus far as part of the course, that will be linking to kind of a larger project that we are going to develop for the end of the class. We're just kind of basically putting the overall skeleton of a research project together. Okay, so this is the key thing. So you organize like a unit, just as we do every week, with things to watch, things to read, and things to do with some assignments. Together with that, part of that, each one of those of you need to put together a Prezi presentation. And that Prezi presentation, there should be something. Prezi now, you can do the video and you can talk over, right? So if you're not familiar with Prezi, go to www.prezi.com and take a look at that. All of you who have had courses before with us here at FIU know how to do that. You have done these projects, and they're usually very visually very appealing. They are kind of dynamic. They're not so linear as PowerPoint is, so I think it's a lot interesting. You can still upload videos that you collect from the web, that you can do that. You're going to read, you're going to find books on these things, and you're going to I'm going to talk to each one of you individually about some of the books that you can be looking at in preparation for that. And so part of the Prezi presentation is to kind of organize a view, let's say, on case studies. So what are case studies? Well, case studies are, the strategy that researchers use when something is very unique, right? I'm starting with case study because all of you, for instance, have seen the presentation of Ari and Jacobo in the beginning of the semester, which starts with case study. So gives the people that are presenting first a little bit of a leg up in that process. But case studies are connected to something that is called a bound situation, right? A bound environment, something that is very clearly delimited. For instance, summer camps or the Guatemala Municipal Orchestra in the case of Jacobo, right? So But case studies are also aimed at different things. They can be single case study, or they can be multiple case studies. Case studies are have all these kind of characteristics that you as a presenter are going to help us to uncover. Right? Case studies are used in medicine, they are used in law, they are used in the kind of just regular educational research. Right? All those kinds of things that are part of that process. And you're going to organize in the Prezi, giving us definitions, talking about, giving us example, telling us a story, using yourselves in terms of a narrative or a video that you produce with yourself, and then you put a link there and you present something, organizing a nice presentation. All of you who have worked here before will understand this, and you paired with individuals that have taken other courses, so there's no two new people in the course, right? So the key thing, however, is to work ahead of time and to really keep an eye on the timeline, right? This is very important, because this, what you produce is not only your assignment, and you're going to get a grade on that, of course, but that assignment, right, the production of that assignment will serve as a learning tool, right? Everybody else in the course will learn from you, as well as from some other things that are going to be framing. So it's really essential that you have that timeline. We can certainly be meeting with people doing the presentations ahead of time in a kind of 1-on-1 or 2-to-1 in that case, and in order to prepare for this. And the first step is for you to just spend a little bit of time this week and put like a very kind of large skeleton of what you might do for this Prezi presentation. So I want you to be familiar with Prezi, and this is due by this Saturday, February 8th. Okay, as you see there in the when you it is done by Sunday, February 9th, and you see that in the Blackboard. In Blackboard, and you can see that, and that is for you to have gather with your other person, right, with your peer, or in this case there's one group or 3, so that you have gathered together, you organize that, you learn about Prezi if you have never worked with it, you put those things together, right, so you have your title, you have a kind of a beginning, so go to the web, do some very cursory understanding about that, put some of the things that you've learned throughout this week in there, and then out of that I can give you also some feedback, and then you have really another time to continue to work on this diligently. Obviously, people that are doing the case studies that is due February 16 have a tighter timeline, so I expect them to have a little bit more ready by this Sunday. But you still will have the whole full next week. Next week we have a guest here on Saturday, and so it's going to be a lower week of assignments and more about reading and interacting with the person on Saturday. So that's going to be a little bit easier process. But that's kind of the gist of it. Please send me an email, give me a call, come by the office. We can, of course, if you're not around, we can set up an office time for a Skype conversation, right? That's always present. You should take advantage of this. So keep on communicating and keep on connecting to this. Please start talking to your peers right away. Plan ahead, right? Try to do this the more you can earlier, so that we're not running late. Lateness is going to be a real issue here. I just want to emphasize that one more time. It cannot happen. You really have to plan ahead, and in order to organize this, in order to present to us, so that everybody can consume this without any issue. Okay? Thanks a lot, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.